Hi, Paul Slackers, Good News Planet. I'm speaking to Bill Couzens. Hi, Bill. How are you?
Hey, Paul. Thanks so much.
Looking forward to talking with you again. You're doing good. We've spoken in the past about good things that you're doing and your organization, and I believe you have a walkathon happening. And what is it? Happening tomorrow, actually, right?
It is. It's a walkathon for less cancer. It is being put on by the junior class at the Foxcroft School in Middleburg, Virginia. That starts at 3:30 tomorrow at their campus.
Beautiful. Okay. How did you get involved? And tell us a little background.
Well, Less Cancer was founded in Virginia. I'm originally from Virginia, and we have been involved, like in many communities around the country. We're also involved here in Virginia. I think, too, most people get to know us on the social networks. We have about, I think a little better than 30,000 people following us on Twitter and maybe about the same on Facebook. Most of our messaging comes through the social networks.
Beautiful. Okay. And tell me what the organization does and what will happen at the walkathon tomorrow.
Well, the walkathon, which was done by Foxcroft's junior class, is 5 miles long. It is not only raising money, but they've been very effective about raising awareness. They have some great young leaders at the school that have taken this idea of prevention when we're talking about cancer and really, educating the school, educating the community, and getting community members out there to walk. So I think they're expecting a couple hundred tomorrow, which is, really amazing for this school. In the past, Foxcroft has done these walkathons, junior classes have, and they've been very effective, and they've done everything, from AIDS research to the Christopher and Dana Reeves Foundation to diabetes. They've been, really effective at both raising money and awareness. And so I know that, I, along with the board of directors of Less Cancer, are thrilled with the work that they're doing for us, and we're really grateful.
You see a greater outreach lately with young people, their interest in things like this? I mean, cancer,
Absolutely, especially when it comes to prevention, when we understand that there are things that we can do to provide, choices for individuals where they can reduce health risk. Now, in these younger demographics, with teenage women, for instance, they're concerned about some of the cosmetics and what's going into some of these personal care products. And so even now we're seeing at that age, these young people are making smarter choices to reduce risk. And if they don't understand the label, they don't understand what's in the product, they're not buying it. And, I think it's because of that demographic we're starting to see a real shift, in the marketplace, which is terrific.
I love it. And so you think that the greater awareness is happening nowadays with the youth?
Sure, and I think that these young people are really, starting to understand what they're putting in and on their bodies. I know in the case of personal care products, skin is, your largest organ. It's the largest door for exposure. So especially in young people are still under construction. And a chemical or an exposure to them may be very different for us than it would be for them. And so they have been very effective at helping to raise awareness on some of these issues and raise money so Less Cancer can continue to do its work on the web and offline as well.
One of the biggest diseases that is actually overlooked, I was speaking with some people about this, for young people, one of the biggest diseases is tooth decay, is dental.
Mm-hmm.
Can you believe that? That's because there's no need to get cavities.
Well, what's interesting is that when you work to prevent cancer risk, lots of other things happen. We know that there are lots of public health issues to include obesity, asthma, even tooth decay. So when we start making smarter choices along the line, if we can, not all choices are available to everybody, and sometimes it's pretty darn hard to make the healthiest choice, especially if what you have on the table is none of it's looking good. So, in some of these areas where, poverty is a big issue, it's hard to make healthy choices if you don't have a grocery store with real food, in walking distance.
Mm-hmm.
So, prevention can look like lots of things, Paul. I recently spoke in Detroit, and there is a functional illiteracy rate in Detroit of, I think, 47%. So, prevention in a place like Detroit might mean looking like, learning how to read. And so there's lots of ways to reduce risk. And when we work to reduce risk for health and the environment, lots of good things can happen.
Tell me about your organization specifically and how people can get involved.
Well, Less Cancer is a campaign of Next Generation Choices Foundation. We have an incredible board of scientists and physicians, environmentalists, communicators, and Less Cancer was our vision, 8 years ago when we started. It was founded shortly after my sister Ann died, and Ann was, one of many friends and family that had died of cancer. And it just seemed to me, Paul, we were getting really lackadaisical almost about the people in our lives with cancer. It was almost as if it were some expected stage of life. And the reality is we're better at treating cancer than, thankfully for all these great institutions, and we all want the cure. But unfortunately, we see these increased incidences of cancer in blood and brain cancers in children and other types of cancers. And for us and for the scientists out there, I think that's worrisome. I, as you know, am not a scientist. I am a communications guy. That's my background, was marketing. So it doesn't really, matter so much what I think. It really matters what the evidence-based science says and how that guides us. And I think, Paul, often when we don't have evidence-based science, we as a culture assume something's safe. So we say, it must be fine. We don't know anything about it. Well, we know that's not the case at all, and that a lack of evidence-based science does not translate to safe. So these are some of the issues that we work to raise awareness for, to prevent illness and to reduce risk for human health and the environment. It is I've had lots of people say, wow, if I knew I could prevent cancer, I sure would have. And gosh, we'd want that for everyone. And we can't guess. Scientists tell us they can't tell us who's getting cancer and who's not getting cancer, but there are things that we can do to reduce risk. And we know what happens when that happens. We've seen what happens when people quit smoking or we remove an exposure such as asbestos. We understand, or scientists understand, how those things work. Again, I'm not a scientist. I'm a guy who shares a very common thread with most of America and around the world, and that is the threat of cancer. And and I share that pain with many, many people who have been touched.
No doubt about it. Let me ask you two last quick questions, okay?
Yeah.
First one is, how did you get the school involved? How did the school, schools have administrations, they have, parents, all kinds. How did you get the school involved?
Well, that's a great question. The school's in my community, so I know people at the school, and they actually came to me. So that was really, an honor that these young people wanted to do something for less cancer. They're so enterprising, and, every time I see one of these kids at the table, change is happening. I mean, they're incredible at what they're doing. And so when they reached out to me, I was moved and honored that they wanted to help.
Beautiful, beautiful. Then last question, that sounds like the good news itself. Last question, Bill, and thanks for speaking with us again here and updating us. Good news for Bill. What is that?
Well, it's a beautiful day here in Virginia, and I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. I'm excited that we've got so many young people on board, and that people are excited about this issue, and they're excited to help. These students will be wearing green tomorrow because green is the less cancer color for prevention. And they've had meetings and conversations. They've, have written things and gotten the word out and picked up phones and knocked on doors. They've been amazing.
Beautiful. Okay, Bill, thanks so much. I didn't know green is new. I thought it had some Irish thing, but okay, we can go with it here too.
Prevention is green for prevention, okay? And that's less cancer's color.
I think it's a great idea. The less, I think a lot of things can be helped green-wise with less is more. Reduce, reuse, recycle in all aspects of our existence. I think that for the planetary as well as the humanly concerns of health issues, less is more, but maybe be focused on the better quality, sort of what you were talking about, and make it maybe a little healthier overall.
I really appreciate your help with this issue and the help with the less cancer cause. I'm really grateful for you. Thanks so much.
All right, Bill.
Yep.
Keep up the good
Take
work.
care.